As part of the Newport Folk Festival Australia, please enjoy these performances from the Newport Storytellers gang.
This is a story about the fearless imagination of a child. This is a story about Hanuman. And before he became the powerful hero of the Indian epic Ramayana, he was just a child with a wild imagination and who did not have the word impossible in his dictionary. Hanuman was known as Anjane when he was a little child. Born to Anjana and Kesari of the monkey kingdom. This little monkey boy had a curious imagination and he was really cheeky too. But one thing that he loved most when he was a little one was eating. And it was also one of his biggest worries. One afternoon when Anjana was putting him down for a nap, he was really worried and he looked at his mum and he said, "Mum, what if I wake up one morning and you or dad are not around? What am I going to eat?" To which Anjana said, "Don't worry about it. Look at our garden outside. We've got beautiful trees and they're laden with fruits." And then Anjana said, "You know which one I like the best? I like the one that is round, orange, glowing." And she said, "Yes, the mangoes are my favorite too." And sure enough, one morning Anjana woke up and mum and dad were nowhere to be seen. So he knew just what to do. He looked out the window and he saw the fruit. It was round, orange, and glowing. He put his hands out and started flying outside in the air. Well, he wasn't really looking at the mango. He was looking at the sun in the sky. And he started flying towards the sun. And as he flew, the birds parted. They started flying beside him. The clouds made way for him. And he went farther and farther and farther into the sky towards the sun. And the sun looked at this little monkey boy flying towards him and said, "Hey, that's not right. No. You can't be here. Boy, go back home. Go back home." And he said, "No, not until I've had my breakfast." The round, orange, glowing and juicy fruit right there. "I'm coming for you." And he opened his mouth wide and went straight ahead for it. Surya, the sun god, started panicking, and so Surya started shining really hot rays on Anjane. That didn't bother him. He kept going. Surya started panicking and Surya said, "Hey Indra, come help." Now Indra was the king of the Devas, and Indra looked at Surya and said, "Are you getting troubled by a tiny little boy?" And he said, "Well, come and handle him if you can." So Indra came on Airavata, his elephant, and said, "Listen, monkey boy, you can't be here. Go back home. This is a dangerous place." To which Anjana said, "Not until I've had my breakfast. I'm after that fruit and my mother says that fruit is the juiciest of them all. It's round, orange and glowing and I'm not going to go back until I've had that fruit." To which Indra said, "That's not a fruit. That's the sun, my boy. Go back home." And the boy said, "No, I will not." Indra lost his temper, took out his thunderbolt and struck Hanuman, and at once the boy fell lifeless in the sky. And as he started going down, he was quickly scooped into the strong arms of Vayu, the god of the wind, who also happened to be the godfather of this little boy. He held the little boy in his arms, looked at Indra and said, "How terrible, striking a little boy with your Vajra, with your thunderbolt. Shame on you, Indra." And he took the little boy and went down into Patal Lok. But now that the god of the wind went into the netherworlds, the wind went with him. And at once the trees fell lifeless, the birds stopped flying, people started gasping. And that's when all the gods turned to Brahma, the creator, and said, help us, we have made a mistake. And so Brahma, with his retinue of all the gods, went all the way down to Patal Lok and begged for Vayu's forgiveness. And he said, no, not until my boy is revived. So Brahma very tenderly touched Anjane on his forehead, and Anjane got his life back. Then all the Devas blessed him with many boons that included an immunity to fire, the ability to grow big or small, the ability to fly, among many others. Also the boon of immortality. And then it was Indra's turn. He went to the boy and he touched him on the chin where he had struck him with his thunderbolt and said, I'm sorry, but because you've been struck on your chin, the chin is also called Hanu in Sanskrit. And from now, you will also be known as Hanuman. And that's the day Hanuman got his new name. And funnily, and also interestingly, the same Hanuman flew many years later to Surya, but this time not for breakfast, but to get knowledge, because later Surya became his teacher. But that's a story for another time. Thank you so much.
And now for something completely different. So I'm going to bring you some agricultural culture. This is the 30th anniversary of the first cloning of a mammal, which was carried out in Scotland, and the clone was a sheep called Dolly. So this is a song about Dolly, and whenever I say the word Dolly, I want you to make a sheep noise. So I'll give it a try. Dolly? Molly? Very good. Want to make sure. I used to wonder why anyone would clone a sheep when all sheep look the same. But then I saw the most beautiful sheep in the world, and Dolly was her name. Oh, if I had a sheep like Dolly, how happy I would be. We'd frolic and play in the natural way, and then go home for tea. By golly, Miss Dolly, well, goodness gracious me. Yes, I wish I had a sheep like Dolly, serendipitously. Well, if I had a sheep like Dolly, and she wanted to be on her own, I wouldn't sigh, I wouldn't cry, I'd just go visit her clone. Hello there, I love you, Dolly number 2, just as much as Dolly number 1. Yes, if I had a sheep like Dolly, it would be non-stop fun. But I'll never have a sheep like Dolly. Who am I trying to fool? A haughty beauty like her would rather prefer someone rich and handsome and cool. Oh, it's folly, Miss Dolly. Such a thing was never meant to be. No, I'll never have a sheep like Dolly. Oh, misery me. Now the final verse is a clone of the first. Oh, if I had a sheep like Dolly, how happy I would be. We'd frolic and play in a natural way, and then go home for tea. By golly, Miss Dolly, well, goodness gracious me. Yes, I wish I had a sheep like Dolly, serendipitously, oh, surreptitiously, semi-seditiously, oh, sesquicentenary. Dolly, Dolly, Dolly.
Please give a round of applause to BBC Regular Theatre.
This is a story about one of our greatest storytellers.
Hello, I'm Jane Austen. Thank you for celebrating my 250th birthday last year. In return for your kindness, I would like to share some secrets. People like my first book, Sense and Sensibility, but it was, well, literally too sensible. I really enjoyed drafting my second novel, Pride and Prejudice, making it more entertaining. In fact, my sister Cassandra and I laughed our corsets off. So I was keen to hear what my publisher, Mr. Edgerton, thought.
Good afternoon, Miss Austen. I'll say straight away that there are some major issues with this. There's a lot to discuss.
Oh?
Well, for a start, there's too much immoderate, unladylike language. And this opening sentence is a disaster. I mean, how many men do you know who would really say, bloody, in the company of women?
Oh, I wanted a dramatic opening that grips the reader.
Jane, why don't you ask your brother for help here? I've been in publishing for many years, and take it from me, it's a truth universally acknowledged that a lady novelist in possession of a good story must be in want of a man to provide the opening sentence.
Oh, I disagree with the sentiment, Mr. E, but I do like that line.
Now, this Charlotte Lucas, who buys the millinery shop in Longbourn and turns it into a ladies' clothing emporium, packed with cheap dresses? Oh, surely not. What the devil is this fast fashion you write of anyway?
I wanted to illustrate that women can be independent and earn their own income without becoming a governess or going into service. Fast fashion means women can go into a shop and buy ready-made copies of the latest Paris designs there and then. Perfect for a special occasion like a ball. Charlotte's shop will even deliver the dresses straight to the women's houses. It's quite revolutionary, and as you can see, Charlotte makes a considerable fortune from it.
Women earning their own money, women buying ready-made dresses, copies of Paris fashions. Ridiculous ideas, Jane. You'll lose all your readers. Oh, for the love of God, can't you just marry Charlotte off to someone?
That would be difficult, Mr. E. After all, no man would really want to marry a wealthy, self-made woman, would he?
Let's move on. That chapter where Elizabeth spies on Mr. Darcy as he emerges from the lake in a state of complete undress. It's downright scandalous. No, you simply can't have people going about doing such things.
But I wanted to emphasise that Mr. Darcy really is, a most presentable young man. I wanted my women readers to visualise him in all of his glory.
What? Well, it's not on Jane. Most unsuitable. Put some clothes on him, for goodness sake. Next, who is this Lydia character who becomes a nun? She's boring and doesn't fit into the story. And there's a war on Jane, yet not a soldier to be seen. Why not have some of our brave heroes strutting about in their scarlet jackets?
Heroic uniforms, but not in a state of undress, then.
I'll ignore that, Jane. Now, Mrs. Bennet, a ridiculous woman. She's much too intelligent, too busy with witty asides to give a thought to her daughters. She waves them away, saying, be your own woman. Oh, what nonsense. And you've married her to a man well below her station. Mr. Bennett is a silly, trivial gossip, obsessed with social standing. Two unbelievable characters. Oh, fix it, Jane.
Oh dear. I can see this won't be quite an odd line, indeed.
But what worries me most of all is that you suggest that there's something more to the interaction between Mr. Darcy and Mr. Wickham than just friendship. It's utterly outrageous. And you must also rewrite that ghastly scene with Elizabeth and the vicar. Mr. Collins, is it? A young couple contrive to be alone in a carriage, then stop in a secluded lane. I know what you're suggesting, and it's ludicrous. Nobody would do that sort of thing in any kind of conveyance, especially a vicar. Your readers will either be baffled or appalled. There are far too many presentable men in this work, Jane. Why not make Collins a silly fool who annoys Elizabeth?
Oh dear. I've portrayed Mr. Collins as, well, what you might call a very beneficial friend for Elizabeth, a little romantic diversion. I also wanted to show that vicars enjoy female company, just like other men. Thank you, Mr. E. I'll take all that on board. So you want me to write another one like Sense, full of refined, polite characters and well-behaved women?
Yes, consider this, Jane. You are a brilliant writer. And the plot here is good. With these edits, I can promise it will sell. I can truly promise. You will become a legend. Hundreds of years from now, in countries we've never even heard of, people will be praising you. I'll wager that you'll make 10 times as much money from this as you made from Sense.
Mr. E! Oh, do you really think so? Oh, gosh!
My dear, I know so. Now, go away, Jane. Use your wonderful brain to rewrite this draft, and before long, you'll be even richer than Charlotte Lucas.
Well, we did need the money, and I relished the idea of becoming a wealthy woman. So I revised Pride and Prejudice. I removed my description of Mr. Darcy's finely toned physique. I made Mrs. Bennet a silly gossip and Mr. Collins an idiot. Poor Charlotte. But at least Lydia became more interesting. And readers can draw their own conclusions about Darcy and Wickham. Although Cassandra threatened to burn all my letters and papers after my death, I kept this original draft in a safe place with strict instructions to publish it one day. You can purchase a copy from my publisher, or if you prefer, a gentleman in one of those enterprising new mail carriages can deliver one right to your door. I'm sure you'll find it most diverting.
Which means I have to get down on my knees to make sure this is the right height.
Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be telling you a story about Cahu and the Forbidden Forest. Cahu the dog in the Forbidden Forest. Once there was a dog named Cahu. He lived in dog heaven. Every dog in dog heaven had an owner except Cahu. One day the Rainbow Bridge opened to the human world. Cahu wanted an owner very badly. He ran to the bridge, but before he could get through, the gates closed. "Oh no," cried Cahu. So Kahu went to see Mr. Angel. Please, Mr. Angel, said Kahu, can you help me find my owner? Mr. Angel smiled. Yes, Kahu, I can help you. With a wave of his magic paw, poof, Kahu landed in a dark forest. It was the forbidden forest. The trees were tall, the wind went west, the shadows looked scary. When Kahu heard a growl, a monster was hiding in the forest. Kahu got frightened and ran as fast as he could. Soon he found a little cave. Inside the cave he met a tiny fairy. Don't be scared, said the fairy. I know where your owner is. The fairy flew through the forest and Kahu followed her. They walked and walked until they came to a little house. A little girl opened the door. The girl smiled. Kahu, she shouted. Kahu wagged his tail faster than ever. He had found his owner. The fairy took Kahu and the girl back to dog heaven, and they lived happily ever after forever.
Oh.
Take it easy.
We aim for ease, the Newport Storytellers.
Thanks, Nick.
Almost welcome.
It's great to be here. I've really enjoyed being inspired by all the storytellers throughout the year, and they always come away with ideas. Keeps the mind fertile. So thanks for everyone for their work through the year, Jackie and Deb for running it. And this year I wrote a song. My friend Leonie, she does our cinematography for the Bobcats, and she's a swamp person. She loves a swamp down in Trunganina Swamp, and so she got a friend Nancy, and we worked out a community dance, and we did it at the bush dance, and so we had all moves, and it was all choreography, but Nancy's not here, but there's a, I should have organised that, shouldn't I? Anyway, you get the song tonight. You hear that okay?
Yeah.
There's a place you can rest your heart. Oh, you've got a part too. I think some people know. Swamp, swamp,
Yeah.
swamp, swamp.
Yes.
All right. There's a place you can rest your heart.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
A big sky place where we're all apart.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
Iris, egret, heron, all the big birds, they are waiting. Catch the full moon rising as the light is fading. There's a place you can rest your eyes.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
Watch the swans go gliding by.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
You can let the time go, walk for miles on a wander. Now your heart is open, growing slowly fonder. There's a place you can rest your ears.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
Swaying grasses have no fear.
Swamp, 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 swamp.
You can meet a new friend, come from some. Oops, that's wrong. You can meet a new friend, come from somewhere like a little bird flew in from east Siberia. There's a place you can rest your heart.
Swan song, swan song.
Show a bit of a picture of Australia, which you don't really see around Newport. I was going to tell you a fair bit about, as much as I can, in the time that is allotted to me, about a part of us, a section of Australia called the Speewah. Now, I pulled that off the gate. Well, I didn't actually, I was accused of it. You know what these farmers are like. The Speewah was an enormous outback station with all sorts of crops. There was, and animals. In fact, and many old blokes told me who worked on the Speewah that they worked on the pig farming section, but they left after a while because they were told that the water they were drinking was bore water. Several well-known characters stood out amongst the Speewah workers. They weren't typical people like you meet around Newport. One of the shearers was known as Crooked Mick. He was the fastest drugged gun shearer, and that's a fast shearer, a gun shearer, that anyone ever knew. He sheared so fast that the sheep, the shears would run hot, red hot. And when they set fire to the wool a couple of times and several times, the boss insisted that he have 2 sets of shears so that he could have one set cooling down in a bucket of water. Now that's the sort of people you get there, the sort of work that they were able to do. There was the Speewah employed so many men that at meal times the cook's assistant had to mix the mustard with a long-handled shovel, and they had to row out in a boat to sugar the tea. The cook was agitating to get a submarine so he could go through the stew to see when the potatoes were done. The Speewah, what a place. In some places, the hills were so steep that you had to look up the homestead chimney to see when the cows were coming home. When you rode a horse down one of the hills, the horse's tail would hang over your shoulder and down your chest, and that looked as though you had a long black beard. The hens in the chook pen evolved to lay eggs in the form of cubes. Otherwise, they would roll down the hills and smash. The rouseabouts would hard boil them and use them as dice. On the plains, some of the soil on the Speewah was very rich and fertile. For instance, in the homestead vegetable garden, the pumpkin vines grew so quickly that they had to put the newly formed pumpkins in trolleys with wheels. Otherwise, they would be dragged along the ground and damaged. There were problems with all sorts of plagues. on the speedway. Example is cockatoos which ate the crops. The boss noticed that these birds, the cockatoos, would roost at night on a big red gun, and he thought he'd like to have a shot at them with his gun. So one night, one afternoon actually, he coated the tree with glue which he knew would set over the night. And in the morning, he rushed out with his shotgun, but the cockatoos all took off at once and pulled the tree out of the roots. And he saw it disappear over the horizon. Various rare birds and animals, most of which are now extinct, lived on the speedway. For example, there was the hoop snake, which put its tail in its mouth and rolled like a hoop, down hills particularly, in pursuit of their prey. There was other birds with one wing stronger than the other. So they were the ones that flew in one way around conical hills. To fly around the other way, they used to fly upside down. Now that's the sort of interest you get on the place like the Speedway in Australia that you don't get around Newport. So I thought that I would give you a few of those examples. I was told to bash your ear too much, and so that'll do, and perhaps another time we'll get a chance to talk more about it.
So please give a round of applause for Deryn.
Good evening. I've got two short stories. They're Aesop's fables for you, and they're connected because they're both about the wind. And I've been looking up a few Auslan signs, so it really is a sign for the wind. But if it's a strong wind, it's like this, okay? And there's a lot of strong wind in these two stories. But the first story is about a tree. Now I think it's a silky oak tree. My father said it might be a river red gum. But it's quite a tall, strong tree. And it's beside a swamp, and in the swamp there's some sedges. And the sedges and the tree talk to each other. And the sedges talk to the tree and they say, "You're very tall. What can you see?" And "I can see a long way. I can tell you what's coming." And the tree talks to the sedges. It says, "Aren't you crowded down there?" And they say, "No, we think it's quite friendly. Aren't you lonely up there? Don't you have wet feet?" They banter like this. But on the day of the story, it was a very strong, windy day. The wind was so strong, the sedges were bent over in the wind. And the tree was looking down and saying, "These poor sedges, bending over in the wind. I'm strong, I don't have to bend to this wind." And the sedges, they don't actually have much time to think or say anything, they're just under the wind. And the wind gets stronger and night falls, and the sedges in the night, and it's still very windy, hear a great big crash. And in the morning, the wind's eased off and the sun has come out, and the sedges spring back and look around, and there the tree is flat on the ground. And the moral of the story is that if you don't want to break, sometimes it's better just to bend, and then you can spring back. And it really is Auslan for spring back, and I think it's lovely that resilience is so well matched to this story. That's my first story.
story about the wind is about the wind and the sun, and the wind and the sun are talking to each other. They've been talking to each other for some time, having a bit of an argument about who is stronger. The wind, especially after that last night, feeling very full of itself, said, I'm definitely the stronger. And the sun said, I don't agree with you. I think I'm very strong. Not as strong as me. I think I might be. No, you're not. And the sun says, let's have a competition. Looks down and says, oh, see that bushwalker walking down along that swamp? Do you think you could get her jacket off? And the wind says, certainly. And the wind sends its huge gust, and the bushwalker, whoa, where did that come from? And the wind got built up stronger, and the bushwalker just put their jacket firmly around them. They're feeling a bit cold. And the wind got stronger, and the bushwalker, see if I can do this, zipped up their jacket, and the wind was still blowing, and the bushwalker, like, I think I'm going to put my hood up, and the wind's blowing, and I'm just going to tie this up. It's a cold, windy day, I don't know why. And the bushwalker just head down into the wind. And the sun says to the wind, I think you've had your turn. And the wind says, yep, I'm going to give you a chance. So the wind eases off, and the sun begins to shine. Shines on the shoulders of the bushwalker. Says, that's feeling a bit better. That's feeling a bit better. And the sun shines again. I think I'm feeling quite warm now. And the sun keeps shining. And the bushwalker says, I'm getting quite hot. And they walk along a bit more, and the sun keeps shining. And you know what happens? Off comes the jacket. And the moral of the story is that if you want someone to do something, use a bit of persuasion and warmth, and you'll get a lot further than brute strength and trying to dominate.
Hello everyone, this is Rosani. I'm from Nepal. So let's say Namaste. Namaste. Okay. Please don't hate me after this, okay? Please, please, please. I got something here. Please, please, please. Okay, let me do that. The boss of the boss lady is my poem topic. I was warned 100 times. Don't get a dog. It's a serious crime. But my daughter bargained all day and night, till my stubborn no gave up the fight. She teamed with her dad. Great conspiracy, you see. Soon came the dangerous negotiation against me. They came with all promises, terms and conditions. Like expert lawyers seeking my permission. Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all, her father said. You lift no finger, just rest instead. Sit with your tea, relax and be. Boss lady duties, leave them to me. So little puppy arrived, our family of 4. A fluffy tornado bounded through the door. Just 3 months old, so small and sweet, with innocent eyes and oversized feet. He slowly wandered room to room, bringing chaos disguised as charm and bloom. One look from him and we would all smile. I was under his spell in a little while. Then came a poop. Then came a smell, turning our home into a doggy hotel. The promises flew right out of the door. And somehow the mess kept finding more and more. Oof. Missing round pair slippers became the norm. Old socks vanished in every storm. He chewed her toys and stole her suit, yet she called him so cute. What can I do? Then Happy grew and grew and grew. Ooh, ooh. Bigger each month. What can I say? He ate like a winter while on the way. Heavy as pig and strong as truck. I wish Dad and daughter a very good luck. I was promised I would proudly declare, dog duties, I'm not going there. Then I would sip my tea with great delight, like a boss lady winning every fight. My lush green backyard was once a delight. Tomatoes and cucumbers were just growing right. Then Happy arrived with his digging crates. And slowly, my garden became a maze. Every new hole became the part of plan. My daughter called it Happy's Funland. It looks like a tractor went tearing through with the driver named Happy and his muddy paws too. Talking about muddy paws, let me add, my new house now wears different art. Paw print carpets in every part. I was so serious, firm somehow, about not getting a dog, but look at me now. The cows, the floor, the freshly mopped room, all bloomed with paw print and doggy perfume. I sure I would never be a dog mom, wow. But now whose phone is full of dog photos now? You know, he sits like a king in my once cozy chair, leaving his furry signature everywhere. The vacuum now whispers, please give me a break. I barely finished one lap, for goodness sake. No matter how often I sweep or groom, his fur somehow multiplies around the room. Just as I settle with my tea and chair, he comes running from goodness knows where. I swear, he's following a secret scheme, trained to disturb Mum by Dad and daughter's team. But whenever those D and D are out of sight, something funny happens every night. I toss the ball and he starts to zoom, turning the backyard into his room. I sneak him cuddles when no one's around, but then act very seriously when D and D are found. He's furry, he's goofy, he's silly and cute, follows me around like a loyal recruit. I am only the boss lady, can't you see? That dog absolutely means nothing to me. And if you hear me saying, never get a dog with great authority, please remember I'm saying it while sharing my chair, my snacks, and my tea with his royal furriness Happy, the boss of the boss lady. Thank you.
Please give a warm round of applause to Jackie and Sarah!
Orchestra's just tuning up.
My husband, whom I used to play with all the time, used to put a timer on when I tuned. And he said, you know how many hours of my life I have wasted listening to you tune the violin? So I just did it long.
I love it. It's a goosebumpy thing. The orchestra getting ready.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay,
Okay, so this story has some call and response in it, and Sarah is the boss of that. She's it's a little bit of a song.
Okay.
So do we need a note? Okay, so I'll go first. Sarah and I'll go first, and then you can try it out. Here we go. Are you ready? It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Na 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 na.
Your turn.
Na 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 na. What do you think?
I think you need another one. What do you
More
think? Another
expression.
practice. More expression. Louder.
Na 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 na. Beautiful. The story begins now. Hunter was walking through the forest with his quiver of arrows and his bow when he was stopped in his tracks by the sound of a very strange song. Na 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 na. He followed the sound and it led him deep into the forest until he came to the tallest tree, and he looked up through the branches and there he saw it, a bird, a beautiful golden bird. Why is it that a bird as beautiful as you has such a strange song? The bird sang. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh, if you don't stop that singing, I will shoot you. The bird sang. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hunter took an arrow from his quiver. He loaded it into his bow. He aimed. He fired. And he missed. He took another arrow from his quiver, loaded it into his bow, aimed, fired, and this time the arrow went straight through the bird's heart. Hunter stepped forward, caught the body of the bird in his sack, tied up the neck of the sack, tossed the sack over his shoulder, and began the long walk out of the forest. But from inside the sack, there was singing. When Hunter got home, he tipped the bird onto the kitchen table and he began to pluck it. Pluck, 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 pluck. He put some water into a pot. He turned and put the pot onto the stove. And it was while his back was turned, there was singing. Hunter picked up a very sharp knife and he chopped up the bird. Chop, 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 chop. He chopped it up into 100 pieces. Then he gathered up the pieces and he put them into the pot on the stove, and the water began to boil. But from inside the pot, there was singing. Hunter picked up the pot, he took it outside, he got a shovel, and he dug a very, very deep hole. And then he picked up the pot and he tipped all the bits of the bird into the hole, and then he covered it up. Then he turned to walk back into the house. But from inside the hole, there was singing. Hunter got the shovel and dug out all the dirt. And then he scraped out all, how many pieces? 100 pieces of bird and put them into a box. He put a lid on the box He put a stone on the lid of the box, and then he got some rope and he tied a very tight knot. And then he carried the box down to the river and he tossed it out into the deepest channel. Well, the water worked on that knot and it became loose and the stone slid off the lid of the box and the box floated to the surface and was carried downstream by the current for several days until finally it stranded on a sandbar. Now, it just so happened that there were some children playing down there on the sandbar by the river and they were curious. I mean, what could possibly be inside the box? One of them had a little pocket knife and they prized the lid, and when it flipped back, out flew 100 beautiful golden birds. Well, it was about a year later, Hunter was again in the forest when he heard that sound, and he knew just where to go. He followed the path and it led him to the tallest tree, and he looked up and there he saw them. Not one bird, but 100 beautiful birds. I know who you are now. You are the freedom bird, and you can never be silenced. And the birds sang, na 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 na.
All fixed?
All fixed.
Excellent.
Right.
Please give a warm round of applause to Priti!
So I had the flu a couple of weeks ago. And after 2 or 3 days in bed, I was, at that stage where like, surely I'm well enough to get up now? Because it was beautiful. It was a very inconvenient time to be unwell. And she knows that, right? She was part of it. And everyone's outside, the sun's shining, everyone's going out, my friends are hanging out, and I am staring at my windows, just deciding when I'm going to get to clean them and what's happening, and I was done. But that's when I thought of this story. A long, long, long time ago in China, there lived a merchant. His name was Chang, and he wasn't too rich, he wasn't too poor, he was just somewhere in the middle. And for him, finding a bargain was the most delightful thing in the world. So his front parlor was full of all these treasures that he had found, and each one had a story. And every story was about how he had got this exquisite thing at the most ridiculous of prices. And now he had found his masterpiece. It was a bed. It wasn't just any bed. It was elegant. It was made of timber. Its headboard was carved, ornate, laid with ivory, inlaid with beautiful mother of pearl. Exquisite. He brought it home, and it wouldn't fit in his parlor. So he had to put it right in the back of his house, you know, where the bedrooms are. He was miserable. And then inspiration struck. Every time a visitor came, what he would do is, he would run to his room, prop the pillows up, get under the blankets, and wait. And of course, the visitor wanted to visit that invalid, poor old man in his bedroom. And then they'd go in and, "Oh, Chan, how are you feeling? You must be miserable. You haven't been well." Some days are better than others. And then, after just the right pause, "But you know what cheers me up? My beautiful bed, this beautiful headboard with the inlay and the mother of pearl and the ivory." And this went on. And it got so bad that a steady stream of visitors would come in because everybody thought Chang was dying. So distant relatives, you know, people he barely knew, friends, everybody. And it got so bad, literally, that he would get up in the morning, shower, get into his pajamas, and get into the bed. Well, all of this went really well until he started probably looking at his windows, wondering when he was going to clean them. And then his friend, his old friend Shu, came to visit him. Now, Shu was a very modest man, mostly. He had one delightful weakness. He loved socks. Shoe socks? Now, these socks were not ordinary socks. They were the most colorful, outrageous, you cannot ignore them, beautiful socks. And what he did was, he would wear his trousers just a little short, so that somebody couldn't see them. And then, you know how gentlemen, when they sit down, they adjust their trousers a little bit so that the knees don't get baggy. Well, Shu did that so that his socks were on display. And so Shu walked into his friend's bedroom and he sat down. "Oh, Chang, what happened? But, you know, for a man that's supposed to be dying, you look remarkably well. Your cheeks are rosy, you haven't lost any weight, your eyes are bright. What is going on? What did the doctor say?" Some days are better than others." And you know, with old friends, you get distracted. You looked around. "Say, that's a marvelous bed you have there." Chang forgot all about feeling unwell. He propped himself up, threw the covers down, threw the pillows away. "Yes, isn't it? I knew someone would appreciate it. It's a beautiful headboard. Can you see the carving? Can you see how lovely it is? The mother of pearl, the ivory." She looked at him, looked at the headboard, looked at the covers, and burst out laughing. "Well, my dear Chang, you see, I think you and I have exactly the same illness." Now it was Chang's turn. He looked at you, he looked at those gorgeous socks, looked at his headboard, and burst out laughing as well. The next day, the neighbors were surprised to see Chang all dressed up and moving things out of his parlor. Cabinets, chairs, goodness knows what. And within a week, there was enough space for that beautiful bed to fit in there, sort of like a day bed with pillows and everything. And of course, from that day on, Chang always greeted his visitors standing at the door, very much alive, because he did not need to hide under the blankets anymore. And as for me, I was very, very happy to get out of my bed and walk into the sunshine. Because you see, I think beds really are for that.
All our storytellers this evening. I'm having one problem there. Our storytelling more than anything else. I live and breathe storytelling, and this is the first Stories by the Fire that I've been able to attend, because normally I've been performing at the Firelight Festival, which happens next weekend, and I know I am, and Rohini, and I don't know who else. Many of us are doing storytelling, which means I've got to attend, but I'm not telling you a story. Because I can blame Jackie for becoming a storyteller, because she started the Newport Storytellers, and then when lockdowns happened in 2020, she and Adrian went, well, we can move to online, and so that's how I ended up joining in. And I can also...
Blame Adrian!
I mean, I'm kind of blaming Adrian, but it's really you, Jackie. It's okay. And also, because I'm also a children's singer-songwriter, that's right, I sing and songwrite exclusively to children, so you're going to hear nothing for the next 3 minutes. No, I kid. But Jackie loves my songs, and Jackie gave me my ukulele, so I feel slightly obliged when she says, oh, you should finish with a song. I go, yeah, I should probably finish with this song that I've written. In my head, this sounds like a Dixieland jazz song with, I can't think of his name now. I can picture him, but I can't think of it. I don't know, someone, a famous singer, singing it. Alas, I'm not that famous singer, and I don't know if he said a ukulele and a kazoo. So you're just going to have to cope with ukulele and kazoo for this song. When it was time to leave my nana's home, after we kiss and say our last goodbye, there was one thing that she'd say to me. She would wave, look me in the eye, and say, see you in the soup, don't forget to bring a paddle. See you in the stew, and don't forget to bring your own canoe. See you in the goulash, don't forget to bring an oar for your own crew. And always remember that I love you. To be honest, I don't remember there being much soup, stew, goulash, or boating at my nana's home. Really it is the sentiment behind it I remember no matter where I roam, which is see you in the soup, don't forget to bring a paddle. See you in the stew, and don't forget to bring your own canoe. See you in the goulash, don't forget to bring an oar or your own crew. And always remember that I love you. Kazoo solo. Don't forget to bring a paddle. See you in the stew, and don't forget to bring your own canoe. See you in the goulash, don't forget to bring an oar for your own crew. And always remember that I love you. Always remember, always remember, always remember. Are you eating enough? Promise me you're eating enough. Are you eating enough? Always remember that I love you.
I know dark clouds will gather round me. I know my way is hard and steep, but beauteous fields arise before me, where God's redeemed. Bring me God to the throne, set me free to find my calling, and I'll return to you somehow. Take me now to the clouds. Set me free